What does a killer look like?
Does he look like a bitch?
Well, how about a granny who looks like she'd asked to speak to your HOA manager and plot a hit in between Zumba classes? Yes, these are the questions you would generally expect to find in a People magazine survey, or if you're Florida Prosecutor Georgia Cappleman during jury voir dire in Florida versus mischief maker Donna Sue Adelson.
Can it look like your grandmother?
This and more in today's video. Hello, and welcome back, roommates, to another titillating edition of Alexasrewm, where we are not lawyers, we are not medical professionals, and we are not law enforcement. We are just people who have opinions about all things going on in the true crime community, including a jury hath been seated in the Donna Sue Adelson trial. Yes, the Florida grandma who has been charged with conspiring with her son Chuckles to unalive her former son-in-law, Dan Markel, back in 2014, is finally seeing her day in court. That means that opening statements will begin starting tomorrow morning. My future ex-wife, sorry babe, Georgia Cappleman, came in swinging during today's jury voir dire, since it seemed like everybody was pretty amped to get this thing sorted by the end of the day, asking the kind of questions that have been on everybody's mind since the movie Griselda dropped on Netflix last year.
What does a killer look like? Yeah.
Please speak.
So she just turned back at Donna. I mean, Jesus, Georgia, take me out to dinner first.
Yeah, number 7.
A little louder.
There's no default for what a killer would look like in just appearance.
No default. Really? They can look like anything?
Yes.
Who disagrees with that? Can a killer look like anything? Number one.
Does it look like a cat wearing a hat on top of a mat with a bat?
Can it look like your grandmother? My young people? Number 5. Can a killer look like a granny?
I mean, it's not like in picture, but like anyone who's capable of has the capacity to kill someone.
You could keep an open mind to the possibility that a grandmother could be a killer. And that's kind of a tough one.
I mean, not really. The Golden Girls used to kill it every single Saturday night back in the day on NBC. If Donna ends up taking the stand in her case, which it seems like as of right now that's the plan. I mean, that's what son Chuckles did, and we all know how that one worked out for him. I guess that's her opportunity to potentially play the sympathy card, and I think that's why it's a good strategy, in my opinion, for Georgia to ask this kind of question. Doesn't matter if she looks like the little old lady crossing the street. Then it was Donna Sue's team to ask the questions, which involved pulling up a PowerPoint with a list of topics, including one bullet point labeled Jailhouse Snitches. Class, can anybody tell me what happens to snitches? Ah, yes, Mackenzie.
He's like screaming. He's like,
Oh dear.
Ms. Cappleman talked a little bit about co-defendants. I'm going to talk about something else. Informants. I call them jailhouse snitches.
Look at this fire Nickelback playlist I put together, kids. Okay, Dad.
Why would a jailhouse snitch cooperate with the state? I'm going to call on somebody I haven't called on yet. I think I've called on
Mackenzie,
everybody.
put your hand down.
Number 1, what would motivate a jailhouse snitch?
Special treatment?
Okay. Like what?
I don't know. What kind of amenities can they get? Maybe less time or comfort?
In evaluating the testimony of an informant or a snitch, should you consider what benefit they got in determining whether or not they're being truthful?
Yes, free honey buns for life. What is the weight that you would hold their testimony if they were promised a lifetime of free honey buns versus a get out of jail free card.
Number 8, I saw you shaking your head. You're nodding.
Conjugals?
Well, I mean, somebody can be getting a kickback and be telling the truth at the same time.
What do you mean?
I mean, they could have seen something bad happen and get a reduction in the sentence for telling on them. It doesn't mean that the person did something bad or did not do something bad.
So they could get the benefit, but it doesn't mean that what they're saying isn't truthful?
Yeah, I mean, they could be lying or telling the truth. Just because they got, you know, a benefit or anything doesn't weigh on that other side of the equation in my mind.
Or a partial truth, too, right? They might be dangling the carrot to see how long they can ride the state out for. So, I mean, that's where my brain would go, is probably first and foremost not to trust a snitch as the most credible source. But if everything seems to line up with other corroborating evidence, that may be, yeah. So opening statements will begin tomorrow morning, which we will be covering here on this channel in recap form style. So if you want to catch my hot, spicy filled takes on that, hit that notification bell now so that you get that video update from me. In other news, a Lake Tahoe resident has tested positive for the plague. You know, last time I wore a mask like that, it was at a Blake Lively slumber party. She asked me to call her Cthulhu. It's very strange. Speaking of flea-borne diseases, the Kentucky judge who was unalived by a sheriff in his chambers apparently ran his courthouse like a brothel, where the alleged victims claim they traded their bodies for favors. Tia Adams alleges she was among those caught up in Judge Kevin Mullins' apparent S for favors scheme that saw him and others in the tiny town of Whitesburg demand actual favors, in exchange for cash or to get offenders off the hook. Adams told News Nation's Banfield that Mullins, who was shot execution style in his Letcher County chambers, allegedly by his longtime sheriff pal Sean Stines last September, who has since pleaded not guilty, had warned her to keep quiet about the so-called depraved ring. We would do these parties and perform shows and have intimate relations with them for money, things like that, Adams alleged. It was consensual, but it was the thing that we were so young, and then they used it against us and to destroy our lives later, which is what Amber Heard used to call workman's comp. Which is interesting how she phrased it, because she uses the word, it was consensual, but I still felt like there was this unfair power imbalance, which I can personally relate to as well, and I'm sure a lot of people can, even in the workforce, right? When there's those uncomfortable passes maybe that somebody who's a superior in your office might make at you, or somebody who's a mentor or a coach, etc. Maybe they don't necessarily cross the line, or you don't verbally express that you're uncomfortable or know how to say no, and it's simply because you are afraid of offending that person. You're afraid of getting into more trouble than you might already be in. And I can't imagine, if this is true, if these allegations are true, the kind of intimidation these women might have had regardless of their age, right? Especially if they did have issues with the law. So, and I think it leads to an even more interesting conversation about how society perceives and how it usually paints a picture of what SA and SH is supposed to look like, when it can really look like all kinds of different things. Adams said she felt forced to go along with the judge's scheme because she feared Child Protective Services would somehow get involved and upend her life. Maybe she had issues with CPS in the past. I don't know. They would make sure to make you feel as small and degraded and belittled as possible to take your power away, Adams said. It wasn't immediately clear if the woman had any prior run-ins with the law or if she was on CPS's radar at the time. And even if she wasn't, I mean, that's something that they could have certainly threatened her with, right? She went on to say it was just a given she would keep her mouth shut about the apparent depravity, insisting who would believe it anyway? Because the whole town was doing it. Nobody cares. They're all swingers. It's all a big party to them. It was just so normal. We're just normal moms and dads, right? Normal law enforcement officers. Separately, Sarah Davis, a former deputy jailer at the Letcher County lockup, told the outlet she had heard about the nasty and sickening stories to come out of the party. So again, these are all just allegations. Obviously, Judge Mullins is no longer alive to defend himself against any of these allegations, but pretty much everybody in the county knows. So here's this former employee who's saying, yeah, it's true, but it was confirmed to me after working in the county jail, especially after being invited to a party myself. So my question would be, did you stop working at the county jail because you were invited to this party and you felt uncomfortable? Or did you continue on working just like a cog in the machine and didn't say anything? And even now, it's like, oh, now that the New York Post is knocking on your door, phoning up your house, now you got something to say. I love how these people are treating this underground brothel that's being run by these local government officials and judges, people who have the power to do whatever they want. It's like the new Applebee's that opened up down the block. Like, oh, yeah. Maybe we'll go check it out sometime, you know. Heard it gets crazy at half-off apps. Ooh, maybe we'll get half-off margaritas. You know you're in trouble when the man performing a root canal on you watches the movie Teeth and thinks, wow, finally, some representation. A Massachusetts dentist was recently caught sticking a hidden camera inside of his practice's poop chute. Dr. Patrick Hewen, 35, of Marlborough, I mean, I feel like they just get younger and younger, these pervy people, I'm telling you, was arraigned Wednesday on 7 counts of photographing a person in a state of nakedness without consent, 2 counts of unlawful wiretap and destruction of property after he allegedly placed a secret recording device inside a staff bathroom at the New England Dental Group. So if you're currently going to the New England Dental Group, maybe it's time to find a new dentist. A dental assistant allegedly found a camera taped to the toilet in the staff bathroom in May. The incident was reported to Hewen, who removed it and said he would try to identify the culprit. The real culprit? Aged like a fine wine. Last week, Marlborough police were contacted by the same dental assistant about an identical camera. What's the coincidence here? Located inside the same toilet, attached with the dental wax and medical tape. I guess that's a tax write-off. Officials said an investigation revealed that Hewen had allegedly placed the camera inside the toilet to capture audio and video recordings of those using the bathroom. Footage on the camera included multiple videos of victims as well as images of Hewen appearing to adjust and clean the camera lens while it was in the bathroom, officials said. I mean, you're sticking it in the toilet. I imagine it gets pretty dirty. Hewen was arraigned and held on $10,000 bail and ordered to stay away from the dental practice and stay away from and have no contact with the alleged victim. He is scheduled to return to court in September. Upon posting bail, he was last seen price-matching colonoscopes in a nearby Best Buy. Sundance has very strict submission deadlines. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video from me. Or don't. Or make sure you hit that like button at least. It's free. You do it really quick on your way out, and it tells the YouTube algorithm that other people might want to watch this video too, and that's super cool. Not that I have anything of value to provide, but hey, if you got a chuckle out of this, then maybe somebody else will be chucking something else. But thank you so much for watching, and until then.
Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.